Finishers MMA, finishersmma.com, at Finishers. That's how you find them on social media. These guys have a show with us every Monday called Now We Go. You can check it out. Zach, JM, Thor, Grace, there's too many to name that come out of that school, and they are killers in the game. They are the biggest MMA jiu-jitsu school in the area, and they are owning the East Coast. You can contact them at 610-438-0746. Ask for Andrew. They are at 3761 Nicholas Street in Easton, PA. They have 2 locations as of now, Bethlehem and Allentown. They are growing into 3, 4, 5, 6. I would say they are taking over, but they already have. Check them out on all of their social media. They are awesome to follow. And if you're looking to get in shape, you're looking to choke people, you're looking to do anything at all to better your life, finishersmma.com. AllValleyRooter.net. That's not how you pronounce it all the time. I just say it that way. All Valley Rooter, Jared LaBarba. He is my plumber. He's the show's plumber. I'm getting him plumbing business all over, and I love that he is getting what he wants. He has 24-hour emergency service. He is certified, insured, and professional. You can follow him at All Valley Rooter. He's on social media, and you can find his information at allvalleyrooter.net. Jared came down over the weekend and he fixed a problem down here. He's super professional. I love him as a person. I love his business. He grew it, and he's doing his own thing. It's allvalleyrooter.net. It's 24-hour professional plumbing services. He can help you out with everything you need. It's 610-762-1656. He's certified, insured, and professional. Do not be afraid to contact him for any of your plumbing needs. Support Jared. Jared supports us. Luke Delmeyer Handmade Custom Knives. I love Luke. It's lukedelmeyer.com. He's a farrier, a bladesmith, and a blacksmith. He has custom knives, and the best part about it is you can take classes to make them. So not only can you take a class to learn how to make knives, at the end of the class, you get that knife. We're working on a project together. He started recently getting into chef knives, so he's starting to make chef knives. He makes hunting knives. He can make any of your needs as far as blacksmithing. That's at Luke Delmeyer on Instagram. That is the best way to follow him. You can see all the stuff that he's posting. He shares, he does raffles, he gives giveaways. Check out all things Luke Delmeyer at lukedelmeyer.com. We've had him on the show before. You can dig down in the library, listen to how he got started and where he's at now. I'm excited to work with Luke. He's a really good friend of the show, and I'm excited to showcase his chef knife that he's making me. Check out all things Luke Delmeyer at lukedelmeyer.com. Farrier, bladesmith, blacksmith. Rips Auto Detail. This guy is the best, hands down, in the area. I've interviewed him. I know his story. He's doing things that others aren't, and I love that he fucks with the show. I love getting the best of the best and having them support and be a part of this. That's what the sponsorship is for. I'm giving you the best people in their profession, and Rips is the best at auto detail. It's at Rips Auto Detail for Instagram. You follow that. He's showing you the different cars he does, and it's at 630 North Nelson Street in Allentown, PA. He offers paint correction, ceramic, SPS coatings, and more. This is appointment only, and it's ripsautodetail@gmail.com. You can call him at 484-553-1366. I tell you, follow him. If you don't know, you want to know more about what he does, follow him on Instagram. Follow Rips Auto Detail, and you can see all the things that Rip does. He's a big part of the show. We have a separate show we do called Road Dogs, and you can check out his past interviews and hear his whole story. I couldn't recommend this guy more for your auto, car, boat, plane. This guy literally has done everything, and he is the best in the area doing this. Rips Auto Detail. We did it. We are selling ammo. NazoAmmo.com. We teamed up. Keystone Munitions, quality, premium product. We're selling it online. What do? You go to NazoAmmo.com. First thing that pops up, what's this? It's an email list. What's the email list do? It's going to give you access to promo codes. It's going to give you access to events, T-shirts, apparel, everything we're doing. Get on that email list. You want 45? 45's not on the website, but then it's coming in. You're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the guy who's just finding out about it. You're a part of the family. Very fast and furious how we do everything around here. Nazo Ammo. We are moving Keystone Munitions, premium products, We're doing it. You want to pick up? You don't want to have it sent? You're Carl. You live down the road? Pick up Nazo at the promo code at the end. Now you're picking up ammo here. We're doing it, man. We are doing it. Nazo Ammo, www.nazoammo.com. Small town, big ammo.
It's
Change
so
it to ganja.
funny because I was like, why didn't I think to call this the Herb Garden?
And you can't change it now.
I know.
Welcome to Never Again Radio. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm great.
Just
How
throwing
are
you in the deep end of the pool.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, we're working on an event this Saturday, 5 p.m. at the Connexions Gallery in Easton. Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm so impressed with myself. The Ganja Garden. Why don't you get into a little bit of your vision of the entire event, and then we can just kind of bounce back and forth on what we plan on doing in the layout, and then we'll just kind of promote it.
Sure. So the event is kind of just like to bring the community together. We love Easton. We love doing things in Easton. We love incorporating local businesses and partying. And now we're adding a CBD and cannabis element. So we're going to be at the art gallery. Our friend Kevin's going to be there doing live glass blowing. So that's
Did that all go through?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Fire chief is down.
Yeah, Fire Chief, shout out.
Holla. Yeah, so he'll be out front. He'll be doing live glass blowing, and he's also going to be selling some pieces. He does some really cool glass art aside from pipes and bongs. So that's going to work in with the gallery show, and we're just going to be immersed in art. And then when you move through the back into the garden area, we're just going to be partying. We have music coming in, a ukulele player, Galen from Mystikfool. I don't know if you've heard of Mystikfool, but they're local. And what else? You're going to be doing food. We're going to be doing beer, cocktails, medical marijuana certification.
Well, that's what I wanted to get into because I kind of want to walk everyone through. So it'll be the glass blowing out front. And then when you come into the Connexions Gallery, it's a really cool spot. It's kind of like a big square, and then there's like a divide in the middle there. But there's a lot of really cool art on display, and I really like how it's laid out. And then when you go through that area, there's a middle room, and then that's going to be where you want to set up CBD stuff. And are you going to have his glass products there as well? And what are you bringing exactly?
So
this is Liz from Mind Leaf. She's been on before. If you don't know what she does,
hey guys.
Mind Leaf CBD. I always get yelled at by Jesse for not introducing anyone.
It's cool. So yeah, my whole product line will be set up there. We have tinctures, topicals, smokable flower, edibles. You can come through, you can buy anything you want infused with CBD or Delta 8. Kevin will also have a table in that area where he'll be selling pipes, he'll be selling art. Like, he makes these really fucking cool ornaments that are like, they're these like glass bulbs that have peacock feathers in them.
Oh, cool.
They're awesome. He's actually like making a cool chandelier out of them now. That's just like some cool stuff he's working on the side. But yeah, he'll have a lot of stuff there. He makes like pens.
I've only ever ran into one person. I used to work, a friend of mine opened up a designer jean store called Velvet. And I had no business working there, but he gave me a job to sell high-end jeans to women.
Nice.
I didn't do well, but I showed up every day. And one of the kids that worked there, he also blew glass, and I talked to him about it. It's a pretty interesting hobby. I feel like not a lot of people do it, so I'm really excited to kind of see his art and watch it live, because that's going to be
Kevin is
crazy.
Dope, honestly. Like, he has his own studio in Gurmansville. I've actually visited there a bunch of times. He like helped me make a marble. So I like tried to get on the torch once. I suck at it. I can't blow glass at all. But it's cool to watch him work. It's very meditative almost.
I was going to say therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah, you zone out and you like watch this glass melting together, and out of nowhere here's this like cool piece of something, and it's really cool to check out.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know enough about it, but I also don't know who does that, but it kind of seems like a lost art. But it's very unique that someone actually does that, and then the fact that they're going to be the first thing you see walking into. I like the layers of the event.
Yeah,
because
me too.
And which is why I wanted to do a podcast, because you can't really describe the event. I mean, you listed everything, but then to see the layout of it is where it's like everything to the main thing, which is the back, is like it's an experience.
Yeah.
Going through the levels. So it's like you come through, you have the glass blowing, and then you're going to stop and walk around in the actual art area. Then there's the area where you can purchase CBD and the other stuff, which is cool that there's like a vendor style area. And then when you get to the back, which is the best part about the venue, which I didn't even know it existed in Easton.
A sleeper.
Who found
right?
it? Thomas?
Thomas, yeah. Thomas knows the owner of the gallery, Anthony. He's a really chill guy too. He does a lot of community outreach. And he's just really worked on setting up a fucking cool space in there.
It's really cool.
The garden is there's a ton of plants and like greenery, and it's just feels like open and fresh and cool. And
yeah, because you go through the area where you'll be setting up your stuff, and then as soon as you walk out, like it looks like something out of like Narnia. Like there's a big tree that kind of hugs the entire area, and then there's like there's so many things that make that cool that I saw, like even like the rooftop of the place, and then like how the buildings are, that gives it like a New York City vibe. So then like
I like the brickwork, like the patio's made out of brick, and there's like moss growing on it, so it's kind of like a fantasy area in the middle of a city. Yeah,
it's very unique. And then I'm excited to see it at night too.
Yeah.
So there's the lights running down, and then at the bottom of the steps, there's two little areas to the right and to the left. So I believe I'll be on the left making food, and Thomas is going to be on the right making infused drinks and cocktails and all that. And we'll double back to like kind of like what the menu is and the drinks are. But when you go up the stairs, it opens up into like a venue, and there's a stage off to the back.
There's tables you can sit and eat.
So it sits about 50 people, which was cool because it's the correct amount, because you don't want to jam anything in there. But each section is also unique. Where like over by the stage, it's like you have art on the wall, and it's kind of like a little nook. And then there's two tables of two wrapping around by the tree, and then there's like a hideaway where if you want to be away from people, then towards the back where you're going to put the doctor. Like it's a really special place that I don't even know. I mean, I'm not from Easton. I don't know Easton a lot. I try and work with more people from Easton, because there's like, to say what's going on in Easton and to see what they've done with the community is a disservice to actually getting involved. And then when you get involved, you're like, oh, well, what they're talking about is all these different businesses working together. And I feel like they do it the best out of everybody in the area, trying to grow their city between food and art and all that.
Easton? Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Easton is such a vibe. Their downtown area has really gone through like a major revitalization, and they just have it together. They do fests.
And they're still going. Like it's
love it. I love being in like the Chamber of Commerce and like being a part of Easton. That's where our store is. I live in Bethlehem, so like originally I just always think like I'm going to do everything in Bethlehem. And then we fell upon this store in Easton, and Easton has been so cool. They're open, they're friendly, they're down for whatever.
It's definitely
it's progressive and
the best
cool.
Food.
Yeah.
Like there's little gems in other places, but to have that many spots that is good food, like I feel like that they hit a home run with it. There's too much good food there.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, I love going to Easton for food. It's my favorite place to go.
For sure. A lot of cute little bars there, too.
Yeah. So then up top, we can kind of peel it back. So, like, when you go in there, what are we doing for drink-wise? Did Thomas come up with the 3 drinks and they're infused? I know you're using, like, a CBD seltzer.
Yeah. So we work with a company named Kalo. They do CBD-infused seltzers. We carry them in store. We're going to have them there as an option to also order something that doesn't have alcohol in it. But we also are offering cocktails with those. We're going to have a whiskey cocktail, and we're going to have
Was it the rum one or the vodka one? Because we did the taste testing, and all the liqueurs were good.
We're getting our liquor from Christmas City Spirits in Bethlehem. So that's locally done too. And we're going to do, I think it's going to be a whiskey, peach, pomegranate, minty type of, almost like a julep type of drink. And then we're going to do a vodka, and there was like this interesting liquor. I mean, you tried it when the liquor rep came. It's called Boilo.
Yes, that's right.
I don't really know. I don't remember really what she said it was, but it was like an interesting like honey liqueur. So it's going to be vodka, honey, lavender, lemon, and another cocktail. And then we have Seven Sirens coming in doing some beers.
Yeah. And what I forget, because I keep forgetting how much is going into pulling this off and what we actually did. And I actually forgot that we went to Seven Sirens, and
we've been putting in legwork.
Yeah. So then we came up with picking 2 of their beers, and then we'll have 2 different types of beer from Seven Sirens.
It's like a mild IPA, one of them, and just, I think, what was the other one? A Pilsner?
I think they were both really simple summer beers that like will go well with the food and just kind of the atmosphere. Yeah, it's not going to be anything too crazy. Yeah.
So with your ticket, I want to mention that you're going to be getting a comped beer, and your food's comped too. So everything's like included in the price. Yeah.
And then for food, we're just going to do a smash burger, and then I think we're going to do. And what's funny is I did the playback event, and they were like, hey, do you want to do like a veggie option? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I said, I want to kind of get used to doing that, because the more I go into with the burger, there's people that are starting to be like, hey, do you have another option? Do you have something different? So they brought veggie burgers, and then they did like a Thai sauce, and then they made a homemade like coleslaw to top it. But it worked out really well, and it's not that I don't like eating veggie stuff. It's just it's uncommon for me to do it. I mean, at this point, it would be like as if you would be getting back into eating meat. Like it just wouldn't be.
People love meat. Yeah, they're resistant to the vegetarian diet. They are.
It's not that I'm resistant. It's just it's just kind of like the pattern that you fall into of like choosing the things
eating
you
habits
eat.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind exploring the realm, because she was just like, hey, here's this veggie burger, and then I have Kaiser's, and then, I brought a coleslaw if they want it. And then I was like, let's build this and make it an option so that the person who's getting the veggie burger doesn't feel like they're just getting a veggie burger in between 2 pieces of bun. And so I was like, and then she was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I love making food. It doesn't have to be burgers. I mean, I'm sure by the end of the year, I'm going to be tired of making them.
Yeah. Well, if we work together on this party and future parties, I would love to kind of help you figure out like a vegetarian lean to get into.
Yeah,
obviously, like I don't eat meat, and I love having that not affect the flavor of what I'm eating.
Yeah. So like the first time I messed around with it was you said something, you were coming to the event, and then it worked out because there was somebody else there, or the woman we were working with from Cigars International also was a vegetarian. So then the black bean worked out, but then it felt good to give an option to somebody when they're like, you don't have anything else. And even at the finisher stuff, it's like people love that, but there's definitely like some of the athletes in there who are like, hey, do you have anything else besides a cheeseburger?
Yeah. So I actually put an option on the ticket. So if you're ordering tickets, there's a couple of questions at the bottom. One of them is, what kind of food preference do you have?
Yeah.
So we can kind of feel out like how many vegetarian options we need to get together.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to figure it out at playback, because I did not cook any of them at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like I made it a point to like clean the grill off, and like I know some people don't want we
have another grill we could bring you. We can have a veggie grill and a meat
because like I was cleaning the utensils off, because I know some people don't care, but I also know that some people do. Mm-hmm. But then when I took the time out to figure that out, I was like, all right, cool. So I took the veggie burger. It was also weird because there's no real timing in cooking a veggie burger, because it just needs to be warm. I was like, is this overcooked, undercooked? Like, it was weird to get timing on that. But then I just was like, okay, this is warm. But then I just put the sauces on how I do the smash burger, and then built the the coleslaw on top of it, and then like I tried it and I'm like, yo, this is really good.
Sounds
and then
delicious,
she was super pumped because then it was not, hey, here's a veggie burger. Like now you have something that's comparable to like, you know, when you get the smash burger, like it's a thing. So now her veggie burger was a thing, and that's what I want to create. Saturday is like having that, you know, it's not just like, hey, well, here's, you know, lettuce, and you know what I mean?
Well,
like I want
the
it to be an
challenge,
experience for the people who don't eat meat as well, because they then are like 10 times like through the roof, like, dude, thank you so much, because I know this isn't, you know, it's not a veggie burger pop-up and then you're doing a couple hamburgers. It's primarily the main thing and then leaning over into another lane. But when you make somebody feel as special as they are on this lane, it's cool to see it.
Yeah. And it's cool to like not compromise like flavor or how well-rounded the food is that you're serving just because it doesn't have meat in it.
Yeah.
So to have like a delicious fucking burger without any meat in it, that's incredible.
Yeah, and it's not a lane that I hang out in often, but I have in the past, and like it's always a challenge. You know, like creating the burger I did, like that was a big challenge. So then like I don't get turned away from like, well, I'm not making a veggie burger, I make hamburgers. Like I don't eat that way, but I'm also, it's more of a challenge for me to create something that like is so out of my wheelhouse that like, you know, but I like taking that on. So it'll be fun to put something that together.
Challenging and fun part of being a chef sometimes, like to have like limitations that you have to work around is just more stimulating than doing like the same old thing all the time, you know?
Yeah, and like that's what it is. I mean, it's just I've been doing hundreds of these burgers, so I can do them in my sleep at this point. And you know, I do appreciate making every one, but then, you know, I had to stop, and they were like, yo, a veggie burger. And I'm like, all right, cool. How are we going to do this? And then like, I remember looking over at Gina and I'm like, yo, like, I can't like check the temperature and like tell like by touch if it's medium rare. I'm like, it's just, and then she's like, I don't know. And then it was funny. I was laughing, but, I'm excited to put something together for that because I know there's going to be, you know, people there that are not going to want meat, and you don't want somebody to pay for a ticket and then not have something for them. Yeah,
so we'll have options, and we're also going to do, I think we're going to work on a condiment infusion too. So
yeah, what are you thinking for that? Let's work it out now.
On the fly. Yep. All right. I don't know. We could even do like a veganaise, or we could do a ketchup, or we could do anything oil-based. Really is like very easy for me to infuse with CBD. So.
Do you eat veggie burgers?
Do I? Yeah.
Yeah. What do you put on them?
I put mayonnaise on mine because I'm not vegan. So I eat a lot of eggs. That's actually like my primary protein source. So
do you want to make it vegetarian and do a mayo, or what do you want to do? Or I guess we could.
We could even buy like we could do a veganaise.
Yeah,
for sure. They offer a couple like pre-made too, like grapeseed oil.
Yeah, we could do something like that, and then just pick up a couple different. So then that way they're kind of an open.
Just have options, because I also want to have it without CBD. Like if you don't want CBD in your burger, I don't want to force you to be partaking in these like infusions or whatever. So
how do you think it changes the flavor that much?
It won't. It will be totally undetectable. You're just gonna feel really chill after dinner.
Now, when you say CBD, do you want to put Delta 8 in the things, or do you want to hang over on the other side where it's just kind of like a more relaxing and you're not going to feel the effects of it?
Let's get into Delta 8 a little bit, because I tell people all the time that Delta 8 is psychoactive and they just default to like THC is illegal in Pennsylvania and they think they're not going to get high. You're totally going to get high.
Happened to me.
From Delta 8. So
I texted you.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't anything I could handle. It definitely felt like there was a top to it. Like it wasn't like something where I was like, fuck, like I had to sit on the couch all day.
Yeah.
But I was definitely high, and I was like, oh, this is totally different than what I thought it was going to be.
It's a bit more manageable. It shifts down into your body a little bit. There's more like a body euphoria. So it's more of like an indica type of high, I would say, for most people. That's obviously still a little bit subjective, but we're not going to dose everything with Delta 8 at the party, because it's just
that's party 2. That's the next party.
we are gonna have one option though.
Yeah.
So we're basically making a Delta 8 tincture that you can crossfade your drinks. So it'll be like an upcharge, a little bit of an upcharge to get that dose. You're limited to one. You have to get your hand stamped. I don't want anybody like driving home high. So yeah, I mean, it'll be there to partake and to kind of just like dip your toes in a little bit if you've never tried it, but we're not going to be getting you super high at this party, and there's not going to be like, we should also probably tell people like, you can't bring weed with you to the party.
Nope.
Don't bring your THC to the party. It's not allowed. So yeah, it'll be mostly CBD infusions. Yeah.
And then you also wanted to, because I want to get into this a little bit because I'm interested in getting a license, but like you're bringing a doctor in, and then that's going to kind of be off in the back corner, not private, but it is an area where it's just kind of like a one-on-one area. Kind of tell us a little bit about where that idea came from, like who the doctor is, and kind of like if anybody's interested in doing that, like what would they, what options do they have coming to it? So
we work with a doctor named Dr. Desai. He's like really, really cool. He knows his stuff. He's an immunologist actually, but he's a huge cannabis advocate as well. And he comes into the store and he's interested in our products, and he's always been like very supportive of our business. So anybody that comes in asking us for medical certifications, we kind of throw his way because he's just willing to see everybody, willing to talk to them about their conditions and whatever. And yeah, we're going to be setting him up with like a little area. It will be kind of private. And you're just going to sit with him. He's going to walk you through like the state process of applying. He has like an iPad with him, and he'll approve you, and you'll be out the door waiting for your medical card in the mail.
How did you get involved with him?
He actually came into my store and he was just like talking my ear off one day. So, I had been in, another advocacy group down in Philly called 420 EDX. They actually no longer exist, which is sad because the parties were so fun. But they had board certified doctors at their events doing medical card certifications, and a lot of my friends actually got their medical card that way just from coming to hang at parties with me. And I was like, this is cool. Like, I want to do this. I want to help people do this because I think a lot of people think it's harder than it is to get their license. So if it's something you're interested in, like, it's actually very easy. And if I can be a liaison for that, like, come on and party.
Yeah, it's cool to offer that because I mean, that was one of the main things you wanted to do with the event. When we first started talking about it, you were like, hey, like, it'd be cool. And like, you could easily not do that, but the to offer it as a service for people who would want to do it is great. Because I know sometimes people are busy, and like you said, they get a little overwhelmed with like the whole process, or like, I reached out to a friend of mine moved back from LA, and he needed information, and I just like, posted on Facebook like, hey, how would I go about this? And there were so many different so much information that was given to me, like it got a little confusing on which one is the correct to go to.
Yeah.
So, and I also think that and especially the times that we live in, the the availability to talk to a person one-on-one for something like that is kind of out the window. And I feel like the interactions with people is less and less and less. And, I know COVID didn't help, but like, I feel like the medical field was going that way already. So like, to be able to sit and talk to someone and then go step by step with them, I think for some people that's huge and is a lot more comfortable than getting confused online.
Definitely. It's all inclusive. He knows his stuff. He's also just very willing to help you get there. That's the thing. Like, the doctors who are willing to write medical card certifications, they're happy to write them for you. Like, I know, like, there were all of these kind of intense conditions that were approved for medical licensing, which was like seizures and like, I don't know, all kinds of crazy stuff like glaucoma and things like that. And my friends in the beginning were like, well, we don't have seizures, so do we have to like go lie to the doctor? And now that like anxiety's on there, or like PTSD, or like even like fibromyalgia, or like nerve pain, or things like that. So the bottom line is, if you feel like weed makes your day better and you talk to a doctor that is like, I understand this.
Yeah.
You're going to get a medical card. It's so easy, honestly. And I encourage everybody to do it. The only thing is, we live in Pennsylvania. A lot of people have guns here. You can't have a carrying permit if you have a marijuana license.
That was always the debate. Jesse would throw at me. I don't have concealed carry. I don't know if I ever will. I own a gun. I just I don't know if I ever want to choose to do that. So then there's some of my friends who are like, well, I don't want to throw away the right to do that in order to get this. But I don't know. But I also look at it as like, okay, well, if getting this, is going to help my mental health and let me sleep at night,
right?
That is a decision that I need to make. But I think that doesn't bother a lot of people, but I know it is an issue that people bring up, and a lot of people. It's
definitely something I wanted to disclose so people know up front going into it.
Absolutely, because I think that's more the issue. Where if somebody didn't know and then they were like, "Well, what the fuck?" But then usually anybody who's and it's kind of narrow-minded to say it, but the people that I interacted with that are concerned with that don't really smoke weed.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
Because they'll say that, and I'm like, well, that doesn't really affect you. It affects you, but you don't smoke weed. So to me, that's not as important as if I would get my medical card or, stuff like that. But I think it's a cool thing to have at the party. I mean, just kind of even walking through this where it's like you have the art gallery, you have, the glass blowing going on, and then to be able to go through there and now even kind of saying it, it's not something where you're going to get stuck in an area. I feel like if anything, people are going to be moving because the way it's set up is you want to keep going back. Sometimes when you go to an event or whatnot and you kind of just start in the front, you get to the end, you're like, okay, cool, this is over. And then you leave, where this is going to be kind of a free-flowing thing where it's like, oh, well, I want to go back to the glass blowing, or I want to check the art out a little bit more. Like, hey, let's really look at the CBD products. Okay, well, let's eat and get a drink and hang out here and listen to music, but then we can go back. It's really cool how the whole thing came together.
Yeah, 4 hours of us just kind of hanging out and vibing. We want to have a lot of activities for you guys, and also just hang out, come and talk to everybody. Everybody's super informed about the cannabis industry that's going to be there. So if you have questions, you can stop and talk to any one of us, I think. And yeah, it'll be cool.
Are you nervous?
Yes. I am nervous. This is my first one of these.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into too.
I hope that it's successful, and I hope we can just copy paste this all through the valley, I would love to have these events pretty regularly if I can.
Yeah, we talked about definitely doing a second one. And, when you do these, you kind of get it together. And then when it's over, you dissect what you would keep, what you would change. So I'm interested to see kind of what this evolves into, because then we were at Seven Sirens and I was like, yo, you could do a version of this, where you could just have a lot more space. It's a totally different vibe. And then it's I love the garden party, but
Seven Sirens is also indoors. Yes, and I am hoping to God it doesn't rain. I'm that's actually one of my bigger stressors about it. I'm just
yeah,
Mother Nature, be cool.
And so to do something at Seven Sirens, it's a whole nother different vibe you can make into that. And I think it's cool to be able to offer the event and work with the creative people involved, and then find ways to kind of keep doing it differently. You know, because you can do the small intimate ones and do a garden party, but then if you want to keep doing these, there's obviously going to be when you have fall and the weather changes, and you're not going to really be able to do a garden party vibe in the winter. So it's you could really change the event to do some cool stuff. Where do you kind of see this growing into? What do you want this to be? I mean, I remember we talked when you first came on and you were like, yo, we should start trying to work together on projects. And then when we got in, it's I kind of see a vision of what you want, but what do you want out of these? How big do you want to go with them? What do you want? Do you want this to be something so the CBD community gets more attention? Is this just something that you want to just artistically create? What is your vision for the events?
I think a little bit the community is going to decide that, because I have a feeling that there's a ton of interest in cannabis around here, and we don't really have an outlet for that, but we'll see. So if that's the case and we can start throwing cannabis-centric events, maybe things with activities you can do. I just like the idea of like hybrid events that you just walk in and it's like a fucking weed carnival. Like, I want people to walk in and have a good time and listen to music and do activities that are fun for them, or like talk to people about things they're interested in. Everybody that even smokes weed their entire life asks me questions about medical cannabis, or people are still curious about cannabis. So if we can inform people and we can have fun while we're doing it, that's the plan. And I'll grow it as big as I can.
Well, just like watching your expression there, like I believe that you want to, do this on a pretty big level, and it'd be cool to kind of like see where this goes as far as like, the ins and outs of the first one, and then, do another one there maybe, and then like see where you can take it. And then it's like, I did that a lot with my apparel when I first started it, and I've always wanted to circle back on doing it. And I think it's something I'll do after the new studio's tackled, and like, cause that's going to probably stay there for like 5 years. And then when I get bored with that and I kind of need a new canvas, I really want to do like convention style stuff. And I've always liked big events, and I've always gone to stuff and then kind of envisioned like, hey, this would be better if you did this and if you did that. So it'd be cool. It'd be cool to have something in the Valley that is a little bit different, but also has a place for like vendors to kind of grow. And I think it's cool that you're like highlighting your friend that does the glass blowing, and it's like, because you could change that artist out, and then and then you can start highlighting different things with that. And it's just I don't know. I've always enjoyed doing stuff like this because it's just a creative palette to like, put energy into in a positive fashion.
We have a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of people that would love to vend, or like they do all kinds of stuff, really. If you can put weed in it, they do it, So if anybody comes to the party and they also are looking for like a vendor opportunity, talk to me about it. I'm definitely down for it.
And that's what's going to grow the space as well. Is like when you got more, like the one I did Saturday, Playback, was the first time they did it, but like they had so many cool, different, unique vendors, and I met so many different artists where I picked up podcasts from, and they had like 3 different guys selling vinyl, but they were like legit guys in the Valley that have good vinyl. So it's like my friends that came down to get food ended up spending money there, and it was like just set up well. And it's like, I just think it's cool to have a space for like that those people can go to, because when you work and you're trying to do your own like creative passion, and I don't know what those guys do outside of that, or if they own a record store or not, but not a lot of people have the opportunity to go offer their art and things on a small level at those events. They're hard to find. If something's done well, most of the time the person in charge is asking way too much money from the vendors. So I don't know. I'm excited to kind of see it grow and then be a place where people can showcase art and do different things as well.
Yeah, for sure. We're hoping to be like an all-encompassing vibe of just fun. Like, I want to have a night of fun. Obviously, it's like work for us, you know what I mean? But to
anxiety.
Right. Where's my CBD? But yeah, I think it's cool to provide a thing that people are interested in. So I'm genuinely like, fingers crossed that people are interested in a thing that I think is cool and I want to share with the Valley.
I think it's going to be fine. It's a lot of, I don't know, if you didn't have doubt leading up to things and you didn't have stress and you didn't have anxiety, I think that's kind of like the process of going through it. I think that's why I personally get involved in that stuff, because it starts just pulling emotions, regardless of them, that they're like things that I don't enjoy emotionally. Like, it makes you feel alive, and then you're like, you're not just kind of like going through a routine. You now have this stuff. It's what I like about the pop-ups. There's always the what ifs. They're like, are you going to sell out? Did you bring enough food? Like, even now, like, discussing this, I started getting a little bit like, oh my God, like, I'm just like, trying to play it cool. But at the same time, it's like, I'm involved in the event and we have to figure out food. And it's like, all right, well, like, we got to set up for the food, the weather as well. What are we going to do? And that's like, all that stuff is what makes, when it goes and it goes well, the release. Like, you know what I mean?
It's a necessary outlet for me. Like, I have all of this like creative energy just constantly like coursing through my veins. You do too. Like, you and I feel like are very similar in stuff when it comes to like, what am I doing next? And like your mind's just always going. So like, yeah, this is definitely a necessary thing for me to do. I've been wanting to do it and I'm going to do it.
Yeah. But that's what makes the ride home. And it swings both ways, but I'm old enough now and I have been through enough where you start like learning your lessons and things faster. So I don't dwell as much on loss, but like very fortunate with the food stuff that it's been going well, where like Saturday when I was driving home, like it was like 45-minute drive and like I was in the best mood ever, but that mood isn't because I sold out. That mood was because all the doubt and the stress, the anxiety and all that stuff leading up to it. And then I did well was like, I was like, no, thank you. You didn't need to show up. Like, you know what I mean? Like you put all those fires out and then it's like, it's worth it.
The validation.
I've been on the other end of it where I paid $1,000 and drove to a convention and sold 3 shirts. And like that ride home sucks, but that ride home is what got me to here. That ride home is what got me to that. So it's like when I do this stuff, it's like the ride home is where, you know what I mean? Like when you're by yourself and you're in the van. And I remember like the first time I did finishers and I sold out on it, like I got super emotional on the ride home because it's like I call my mom and my mom's like, they don't understand anything I do, but they do understand that I sold this many hamburgers. And they're like, oh my God.
Right.
So like that ride home and that moment is such a personal thing. And that's what I chase after each time. So it's like
the accomplishment. Yeah. I have like an accomplishment boner too. I just see.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, they are now. Like I just, all the time, every day, I'm like, I gear my entire schedule around like crossing accomplishments off because that feeling is like unparalleled.
Yes. And I feel like if you do enough, then it takes you up. And then when you're up, the come down, the higher you go up, the slower the come down is. So I don't mean, it's just like getting high. Like if you get super high, and then I always like the come down off of it. I don't like the fucking let's talk to God. I can't breathe right. Like
the peaks. Yeah.
I don't enjoy any of that. What I enjoy is coming down off of it and then just like kind of being like super relaxed. So like the way I do shit is like, all right, well let's set these super high goals. Let's set these accomplishments, and then like let's put ourselves here, and then the come down off of it is the release. That's what I enjoy. It's the only time that I'm calm, and there's like a small window of like, hey, for an hour I felt like a normal person before I go back into fucking crazy.
I like
it's
to
the
call
same
that
thing
afterglow.
Yeah. So it's like the same thing as like when I used to run 8 miles a day. It's like I had to run 8 miles a day because the come down off of 8 miles a day is what would get me through the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And then you start building up to a point where I'm like, all right, I can't run anymore. Like I don't have 3 hours of running, and
my
then
knees are shot.
Yeah, they are. They're ruined from all kinds of exercise like that. But now I kind of like, that's how I work now. Is I build up and then I come down, and then I just kind of keep building up more, and then like I feel like that method of madness is what grows everything I do 10 times faster than what it normally would be, because I'm just constantly going after stuff. But the fallout of that on those ride homes when shit don't work right is they're not fun. So as much as I'm like stressed because I have a pop-up in the morning and then a pop-up at night, and I've never done two in the same day.
A double shift.
Yeah, I'm guessing that night's sleep is going to be, you know what I mean? Like that'll be what I get out of that.
Yeah, for
is
sure.
being able to sleep. But
we're gonna nail it. I got a good feeling about it, honestly. I think like just seeing like the cannabis scene in Philly and realizing that there are a lot of like-minded people in this area and they don't have an outlet for that type of event. I'm ready to corner it, man. I want everybody who's interested in this to come hang out and come party.
I think it's a good way to grow what you're doing. I think it's a good way to give back and have a space for people to kind of hang that are into stuff, but it also brings your business 100% into it as well.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would love for Mind Leaf to kind of be at the forefront of the Lehigh Valley cannabis scene. It's important to me because, like, we put a ton of emphasis into, like, sourcing everything that we do in Pennsylvania. Like, we source core ingredients, we source all of our hemp, we do our packaging, all of our design work. Like, everything is done by pretty local Pennsylvania companies. So I'm very interested in advocating for the things that I believe in and working it into the community, into like deeply rooting in here in the Valley. So, yeah.
I'm excited for, because like what this is going to do long term is it's going to kind of give you a platform or a voice to kind of like start building the growth behind you. So whether or not it's something that directly involves them with CBD and Mind Leaf, it's still, you're like kind of going to be building this force behind you to give you a kind of a voice. And then when you start kind of like digging in and taking your part out or creating the first version of this in the area, you know, it's going to be an important role that I think some people either don't know how to start doing, or some people don't know how to like handle being the person to do that. But I think it's going to be a really cool avenue to have something in this area that either people are afraid to do or just people are overlooking it. But I mean, if you keep plugging away at this, you could definitely change the area for advocates and people who want to be involved in what you're doing as an outlet to do it.
It is a little bit difficult here because, honestly, the Lehigh Valley is
difficult here.
well,
try doing
it's a little
it in
conservative
Nazareth.
around here. Yeah. I mean, I think like, so weed still has like a ton of stigma, you know? So the reefer madness generation is like, what?
Yeah.
You're having a weed event? And like, I don't know. That's something that I actually battle in business and all kinds of stuff. So, things are loosening though. People are coming around. I think weed is becoming like a lot more mainstream. So people don't think of it as such a dangerous thing anymore, I don't think.
No, I think it's getting easier, but it's still like you can see like the trickle effect of like how long it's still taking. Like I've been telling my dad to use CBD probably for the last 4 years because Zach was the first one with, and it was just who I was connected to that started moving CBD out of the jiu-jitsu school. And then it really worked on my dad's aches and pains. Mm-hmm. And then like that was kind of the first time where they started looking at it differently from a generation that, you know, is so used to it not being like a thing. And then now fast forward, they're 100% in because their doctor finally, you know, was like, hey, I think you should try this.
Dude,
but it
that's
took a
the coolest
doctor
part of
yeah.
like all of these doctors like coming around and like being like, okay, we're gonna do this like medical cannabis stuff. That is like the reputable type of opinion that people need to hear to kind of let go of those shitty stigmas about cannabis, because like obviously like stigmas always come from like the group of the most irresponsible users, you know what I mean? So like they create like all
that's with everything though.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And I think that I really battle like the stoner stigma all of the time. Like I think people are surprised to find out that I don't smoke weed because I own obviously a store centric around weed and I can't do it. I'm not a stoner. I'm not like a burnout. I'm not any of these things. So like that's another thing. I'm hoping that like by doing events based around cannabis, the amount of exposure can kind of like fizzle away some of those shitty stigmas. Like we're out here functioning, you know, we're like business owners and we're people that go to work every day and like contributing members to society. And like if you happen to smoke a joint to relax at the end of the day, big deal.
Yeah. It's definitely come a long way. And what's funny is now he used it because I had the stuff you left me and I was like, yo, I said, I used this the other day because I'm just on my feet too much and I don't wear the correct shoes because I just choose fashion first. So
Crocs.
I need to start. Believe me, I'm ordering them today. After that last event. But I told him, I'm like, hey, I have this stuff, and he's like, don't worry about it. I got some from my doctor, and I'm like, oh, so like now you're listening, but it's like to see the trickle and the change, which is cool because like this event in now is 50 people. Mm-hmm. So like. This is going to grow if you keep putting work into it like anything else. So it's like, I know what you're going to do because I see what you're doing with your business, but it's like, it takes something starting somewhere and then time and then for it to order to get somewhere else. So like if you don't put in the energy to like have this area and somebody be pushing for this more and doing it at more public events and just doing more things like this, and then people get along to the point where somebody who doesn't smoke is just coming and checking out the art and eating and whatnot, you're going to create this thing, and then that thing is going to keep growing, and then eventually it's going to get to where you want it to be, because I know in your head you're like, we can do this at the Sands. So like
the music fest of cannabis.
So like but I look back at how I started what I'm doing now, and then I look at like what one idea was of choosing to make a t-shirt and start this clothing company, and then that trickled down was just my obsession with work and all that, to the point now where it's like I'm doing all these things alone and by myself, and I turn it into a business. And like, so it's going to be awesome to see somebody take an idea and then change the area and change it for, like, it's very difficult to make an area look at things from your perspective. And do that, you have to like literally just dig your feet in and then just creatively grow something to a point where it's like for a public perception. And then to make the public perception see it exactly how you want it done is very difficult.
It's actually super difficult to with something as controversial as cannabis. That's why, like, for these events, I want to be offering like multiple things. Like I want to bring in the music element. I want to bring in the art element. So maybe like if you have a buddy who smokes weed, but you don't smoke weed, you can show up and still have a good time. You could not mention weed at all. You couldn't even not think about weed and you'll still have a good time. So, as we grow, I'm hoping to kind of have like more art and community centric things there, activities for people to do and just have a good time. And I just like, I think this area is just thirsty for cool things to do.
Yeah.
It's a little boring around here.
Yeah, and if it's not, it's because there wasn't, because there's stuff that I miss, but then there's just stuff that I think it's just the same thing. Like, hey, we got Bacon Fest. And then Bacon Fest gets so big, there's too many people there, and I don't want to go to Bacon Fest because the whole world shows up in Easton to do Bacon Fest.
I mean, I hope we have that problem.
But I'm saying is like, and I've always been the type to be like, well, fuck it, let's do that. Let's do a thing. Let's do a new thing. And like, even like getting into the new studio or doing food and all that, I'm always just like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to do it. Well, like who else is doing burger pop-ups? And like, I know there's other people out there, but I was like, why can't I do this? And then like, it takes a specific person to start doing something to get something else going. And it's like, Easton does offer a lot of cool stuff, but it's like, I feel like there needs to be something new. There needs to be something like a different lane. And like, I feel like there's plenty of space to be able to create something different, and I feel like that's what we're doing with kind of like combining everybody together. And like to have Thomas in there as like that good of a bartender is such a bonus, because I was even saying to you like, if we go to Seven Sirens, now you just throw Thomas behind the bar and now he's handling these infused drinks, and like, I feel like it's the right people to do something very special and specific for the area and have a new avenue that can grow into something where you could be doing, fashion and art and CBD and marijuana stuff and music, and like you can really like hug that entire idea and have a fantastic event.
Definitely like foundationally, the pieces to the puzzle that are together and throwing this event, like this event's gonna be fucking cool. Everybody is dynamite at doing their job, and it's just I know that it's gonna flow amazingly, but like this is the first one, so I want like
we've never worked together. I saw Thomas at Two Rivers once, so it's like we don't even like this, like what you said, is going to go well, but what happens when we know how to work with each other?
Right. And then also, like, I want the feedback from the community. I want to know, like, what's missing from people's weekends that they wish they could do and bring in some cool shit. And as we grow, I hope to, like, evolve into something that, like, people really need, And, like, I'm cool with the variable. I think that I have a broad idea of what our events are going to be like and how they're going to be centered. But want the feedback. I want to be able to evolve and just make a cool thing for people to do.
And I like the three of us, even in the meetings, it's like everybody pushes it in a different direction. Like, I love no boundaries. So immediately I was like, we could do this anywhere. We could take this anywhere we want. You could do this in any town. Like, you can do this, you could do this in the studio. I'm like, we could do this in your area. And then you have Thomas pushing the boundaries of like the drinks and like the vision of it with photography and stuff. And then with how you've just been organizing this whole thing and pushing the general idea behind it. Like, I'm just really excited to see that combination flow together and like how fast, how big, and how much this is going to grow.
I know. I'm really, really excited about it. I still have like the jitters just because we haven't pulled it off yet.
No.
But I'm really excited to get one under our belt, and I'm excited to see, like I said, like how it's going to evolve.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to wrap it up because this is Monday. I'm going to have this out. Hopefully, if YouTube does not fuck me on just how it is to put it up. But I want to give you a chance to plug this entire event and just everything that you got going on, how people can get the tickets, the information, everything anybody needs to know about this event. I'm going to have you plug it right now. And I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
We wanted to get this done just to kind of have a version of how we wanted to just kind of, creatively discuss it, which I thought was needed too, because now I'm like overly like, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be so much fun.
We're geeking out, man.
But I mean, there's a lot of, I think like there was so much work into this. Like, yeah, it's cool meeting up and whatnot, but there's so much stress and pressure on it where now it's closer. But I feel like we also needed to do this because now I'm like, all right, cool. This is a very focused idea. There isn't that much shit going on. You just need to fucking rile this in and get it the fuck done and get one under your belt. But
yeah.
So I appreciate you making time today. I know you're busy. Just let anybody know how they can get tickets or anything, where the event is, and anything that you want to plug with the event.
So my company Facebook is facebook.com/mindleafcbd. That has all the information about my store. It has the information about the party on it. It links directly to Eventbrite, which is where we're selling tickets through. Tickets are $50. They include an infused dinner. They include an infused drink. They include a time slot to see the doctor if you're interested in your medical card certifications. What else? I guess I'll just give info about the party. It's going to be at Connexions, which is on Northampton Street in Easton. It's going to be 5 to 9. It's Saturday, July 17th. We're going to have music from Galen from Mystikfool. He's a cool ukulele player. I'm excited about him, actually.
I didn't hear. I'm excited to hear his music. I didn't hear it yet.
Hyped, actually. And Kevin from Try Symbolized Glass is going to be there doing live glass blowing demonstrations. He's also super chill to talk to. He offers classes if it's something you're interested in wanting to get into yourself. And yeah, we're just going to have sales. We're going to have food infusions, drinks aplenty. We're vibing.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Come down to the event. If you need any more information and you're the type of person that doesn't listen to that stuff and then still needs to contact somebody directly, you can contact me directly through my social media. I'll send you the links to stuff. We have any more information that you guys need, you can contact either one of us on any of that stuff. If you're a first-time listener, first-time watcher, subscribe to the YouTube. You can follow us on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff, and get all your regular updates. Everything I do is on neveragainstudio.com, and that has the podcast, my apparel. We work with small business. If you want to sponsor the show, if you need t-shirts made, anything that I'm doing, I can do for you. And Nazo Ammo, we have ammunition we're doing through Keystone Munitions, and we have 9mm, we have 5.56, 223, 30-30. We have a ton of new stuff coming down the pipe, so if you're interested in any ammo stuff, you can contact me directly as well, and that's nazoammo.com. I will see you at the Ganja Garden?
The Ganja Garden.
Yes. I will see you there, and come out and get a smash burger, get your tickets, and enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you're busy.
Thanks for having me.